Dr. Jinho stood in the medical bay of Mercy Medical Space Station, looking at the screens in front of him. The news had come down 3 hours ago. An alien ship was coming. Not a normal visit. An emergency. A creature was hurt and needed help right now. Jinho had worked as a doctor for animals for 20 years. He had treated lions, bears, snakes, and things that most people would run away from. He knew how to stay calm when danger was close. He knew how to help creatures that could not speak human words. But this was different. This was something from another world entirely. The doors of the medical bay opened with a loud hiss. Military people came in first, wearing heavy armor and holding weapons. They looked scared and ready for trouble. Captain Min-Kyu walked behind them, his face serious. He was the commander of the space station, and he did not look happy. "Dr. Jinho," the captain said, moving closer. "We have a situation." Jinho turned to face him. "I heard." "Tell me what happened." Min-Kyu pointed to the screens. "We have an alien creature coming to us. It was hurt in a mining accident on the outer colonies. It is from a species called veterinarian. They are not friendly usually. They do not like other species very much. But one of them is dying, and they asked for our help. They asked for a doctor. How long do we have?" Jinho asked. "Maybe 4 hours. Maybe less. The creature is bleeding inside. We do not know if our medicines will work on something not from Earth. We do not even know if we can touch it without getting hurt." Jinho felt his heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm. He had felt this way before. Every animal in danger felt the same thing to him: fear and pain. The animal did not care what it looked like or where it came from. It only knew it was hurt. The arrival came faster than expected. The ship landed hard in the docking bay. Military people rushed outside, but Jinho stayed in the medical bay, watching the screens. He wanted to see what came first before he made any plans. The doors opened on the landing bay. And then Jinho saw it. The creature was huge. It was 12 feet tall, maybe more. Its skin looked like crystal that had turned hard as rock. It had a color like blue and purple mixed together. The creature had 4 arms instead of 2, and its eyes were very big and very bright. It looked like something from a dream, but it was real. It was really there, and it was in terrible pain. Jinho could see how the creature was holding itself. It was trying not to move. Every small movement hurt. There was blood on its skin, dark blood that did not match the color of normal animal blood. The creature made sounds, low sounds, that made the ground shake a little. Military people came closer with their weapons ready. The creature, which Jinho learned was called Krath, stepped back. Its fear was clear. Jinho could see it in how its body moved, how its eyes got bigger and brighter. "Keep back," a military officer said. "We need to keep it calm." But Jinho saw something different. The creature was not calm because nobody was being calm. Everyone was scared. Everyone had weapons. Everyone was talking in hard, loud voices. The creature felt like it was being attacked, even though nobody had touched it yet. The medical team tried to approach with their machines and tools. Krath made a loud sound and pushed them away. Its crystal skin began to shine brighter, and everyone stepped back fast. Nobody wanted to get hurt. The creature was clearly sick, but it was still strong and could be dangerous. Hours passed. Krath got worse. The creature's breathing became hard and loud. Its colors began to fade. The infection in its body was growing. The military wanted to use heavy sedation to put the creature to sleep with drugs so strong that it would not wake up again. They said it would be safer that way. They said they could study the creature and learn from it. They said maybe they could save it, but maybe they could not. At least they would learn something. Captain Min-Kyu came to find Jinho in the observation room. "We're running out of time," he said. "What do you think, Doctor?" Can we save it? Jinho did not answer for a long moment. He was watching Krath through the glass. The creature was alone in the room now, because everyone had given up and moved back. It was standing still, scared and hurt. Then someone came into the observation room. It was Yoonji, one of the young interns who worked in the medical bay. She was smart and kind, and she noticed things that other people missed. "Dr. Jinho," she said quietly. "I think I know what is wrong." Jinho looked at her. "It is not refusing help," Yoonji said. "It is afraid of how we are trying to help. Look at us. We come in with weapons. We make loud noises. We try to grab it and hurt it with needles and machines. If I was hurt and scared, I would refuse help too." Jinho felt something click in his mind. In 20 years of working with animals, he had learned something important. When an animal was hurt and scared, it became more hurt and more scared if you added more fear. Fear made the body sick. Fear made the animal's heart work too hard. Fear made everything worse. He had never thought about a creature from another world in the same way. But why should he? Pain was pain. Fear was fear. These things did not come from Earth or from the stars. They came from being alive. "Captain," Jinho said, turning to Minkyu, "I need you to trust me. I need to go in there alone. No weapons. No armor. Just me." "That is not safe," the captain said. "No," Jinho agreed. "But it is the only chance this creature has." Minkyu looked at the creature on the screen. He looked at Jinho. Then he nodded slowly. "Okay," he said. "But be careful." Jinho took off his heavy coat. He took off his protective suit. He left behind all his tools and all his fear. He kept only one thing: his voice. He kept his voice and his heart. He walked to the door of Krath's room. He took a deep breath, and he stepped inside. The door closed behind Dr. Jinho with a soft sound. In the observation room, Captain Minkyu and the military officers became very still. Hands moved close to weapon controls. Eyes watched every movement on the screens. Yoonji held her breath. This was very brave or very stupid. Maybe it was both. Jinho stood just inside the door. He did not move forward. He did not speak. He simply waited and let his eyes meet the eyes of the creature in front of him. Krath's eyes were big and bright, full of fear and pain and a question that needed no words. Slowly, Jinho raised his hands. He opened them to show that he had nothing. No weapons. No tools. No hidden things. Just a man, small and defenseless, standing in a room with a creature that could break him with one movement. "I know you are scared," Jinho said softly. His voice was quiet, like someone talking to a child at night. "I can see your fear. I understand." Krath made a low sound. It was not angry. It was confused. The creature had never heard a human speak like this before. Not loud. Not commanding. Just talking. Like a person would talk to someone they cared about. Jinho took one small step forward. Then he stopped. He waited. He gave the creature time to decide if he was safe or not. "I am a doctor," Jinho continued, still in that soft voice. "I help creatures that are hurt. I have helped many animals in my life. Some were scared like you. Some tried to hurt me because they did not understand what I was doing. But I never left them. I stayed with them. I helped them feel better." Krath's colors flickered. The bright blue and purple became a little darker, a little calmer. The creature was listening. "My name is Jinho," he said. "What is your name?" The alien made a sound that echoed in the room. The translation device on Jinho's belt tried to change it into words. It came out as Krath, but that was not quite right. It was more than a name. It was a feeling, A whole story about who this creature was. But Jinho understood the meaning. This was Krath. "I'm sorry you are hurt, Krath," Jinho said. "I'm sorry you were scared. I'm sorry you came to a place where people tried to hurt you or make you feel more scared." Krath stepped backward. For a moment, Jinho thought the creature would reject him. But then Krath sat down. Its massive body lowered itself to the floor. It was trying to make itself smaller, less dangerous. It was trying to show that it would not attack. Jinho understood this language. It was the language of trust. He walked slowly forward and sat down too. 20 feet separated them, but the space between them felt smaller now. It felt like two scared creatures in a room together, both trying to understand if the other one meant harm. "I know something," Jinho said. "I know that you are not just scared of pain. You are scared of us. You are scared of what we are. You are scared that we will do bad things to you. I understand this. When I was young, I was scared of many things too." Krath listened. The creature's breathing became a little slower. Jinho told stories. He told about his childhood, about being afraid of the dark. He told about the first animal he ever helped, a dog that had been hit by a car. The dog was so scared, it tried to bite him. But Jinho sat with the dog all night, talking to it, letting it know it was not alone. In the morning, the dog let him touch it. A week later, the dog could walk again. "Fear is something that all creatures understand," Jinho said. "It does not matter if you come from Earth or from the stars. Fear is real. Pain is real. The need to feel safe is real. This is what we share." Hours passed. Jinho sat in that room and talked. He talked about his failures too. He talked about animals he could not save, despite trying everything. He talked about how much that hurt him, how much he still thought about those animals. He talked about how important it was to try anyway, because trying meant you cared. Krath's colors changed again. They became warmer. The bright edges softened. The creature began to breathe more normally. Some of the fear left its eyes. "I want to help you," Jinho said. "But I can only help you if you let me. I cannot force you. I will not force you. If you say no, I will accept that. I will sit with you anyway. But if you say yes, I promise I will be gentle. I promise I will not hurt you more than you are already hurt." Krath made a sound. It was a question. The translation device turned it into words. "You will not hurt?" "No," Jinho said. "I will not hurt. I will only heal." The creature raised one of its forearms. It was a slow movement, careful and gentle. The crystalline hand opened. The fingers extended. Krath was reaching toward Jin-Ho. Jin-Ho stood up. He walked across the space between them. He raised his own hand. His hand was so small compared to Krath's. A human hand against an alien hand. Two creatures from different worlds, finally meeting not as enemies, but as beings who understood that sometimes it was enough just to not be alone. Their hands touched in the observation room. Captain Mingqiu saw it happen on the screens. Yoonji was crying. The military officers did not know what they were watching, but they understood that something important had changed. "He did it," Mingqiu said quietly. "The doctor did it." Over the next many hours, Jinho stayed with Krath. He taught the creature what he was going to do before he did it. He moved slowly. He spoke softly. He explained everything. And Krath, for the first time in its life, learned what it meant to trust another being completely. 3 days had passed since Dr. Jinho first entered Krath's room. The medical bay had become very different from before. Where there had been weapons and hard edges, there was now softness and patience. The military officers had been told to stay away. The heavy machines were removed. The bright lights were dimmed. Eunji worked beside Jinho, learning something that no school could teach. She learned that medicine was not just about knowing facts and using machines. Medicine was about understanding what scared a patient and working around that fear. It was about making the patient feel safe so that their body could actually heal. Together, they changed everything about how they approached Krath. They did not wear heavy protective suits anymore. They wore simple clothes. They did not make sudden movements. They did not use loud voices. They moved like they were in a library, careful and gentle. The first examination took 6 hours. Jinho had to understand Krath's body completely before he could help it. He learned that the creature's blood was different. The crystal-like skin was not just decoration. It was part of the body's defense system. When Krath was scared, the skin became harder and brighter. When the creature was calm, the skin became softer and more flexible. The infection was bad. It was inside Krath's body, spreading through the systems that kept the creature alive. Any normal doctor would have said the creature could not be saved. The infection was too strong. The creature was too different. They did not have the right medicines, but Jinho was not a normal doctor. He was a doctor who understood that sometimes you had to think differently. He looked at what Krath's body was trying to do and worked with it instead of against it. He used small amounts of earth medicine mixed with the alien creature's own healing abilities. He gave the creature rest, clean water, and something very important: time. Talk to it, Jinho told Yunji. Even when you think it is sleeping, talk to it. Tell it that we are here. Tell it that it is safe. The creature can hear you even when you think it cannot. Yunji spent hours sitting next to Krath, telling the creature about Earth. She told about the ocean and the sky. She told about rain and snow. She told about music and colors and things that made humans happy. Krath listened with those big, bright eyes, and slowly, very slowly, the creature began to understand that there were good things in the universe. Jinho did something else that shocked the medical team. He played music in Krath's room. Not loud music or strange music, but soft music. Music that came from violins and pianos. Music that made people feel calm and peaceful. Somehow, the music worked. Krath's breathing became deeper. The creature's colors became more regular. The infection began to fight back. On the 4th day, Krath's temperature went very high. The creature was burning up from inside, and there was nothing more that medicine could do. It was time for the creature's own body to win or to lose. Jinho sat next to Krath all through that night. He did not sleep. He did not leave the room. He held one of Krath's massive claws in both his hands. He prayed. He said words in Korean, words from his childhood, words that his mother had taught him long ago. "Please," he whispered. "This creature deserves to live. It deserves to know that kindness is real. It deserves to feel love. Please, please help me save this life." Yunji sat in the next room, also praying, also hoping. Captain Mingqiu came and stood outside, watching. He did not understand what Jinho was doing or why it mattered so much. But he could see it mattered. It mattered more than anything else. At dawn, Krath's fever broke. The creature's skin began to change. The colors became brighter again, but different. The dark, sick colors were gone. What came back was beautiful. A blue that was like the sky, a purple that was like flowers. The creature was healing. Over the next week, the change was incredible. Krath's wounds began to close. The infection slowly died. The creature ate food. The creature started to move around the room. Most importantly, the fear left Krath's eyes. What came to live in those eyes instead was something that no one expected. It was hope. It was curiosity. It was something that looked like gratitude, but it was deeper than that. It was love. The military wanted to know what Jinho was doing. They wanted reports and measurements and data. They wanted to move Krath to a secure facility where they could study the creature. They wanted to make use of what they had learned. Captain Minkyu listened to all of this and then said no. This creature came to us for help, Minkyu said. Dr. Jinho helped it. That is the end of the story. We do not own it. We do not get to use it for science. We do not get to lock it up and study it. It will leave when it is ready, and it will carry with it the knowledge that humans can be kind. The military did not like this answer, but they could not argue with their captain. 2 weeks later, Krath was strong enough to move. The creature stood on its 4 legs and looked at Jinho with eyes that held a question. Jinho understood. The creature was asking if it could go home. Yes, Jinho said. You can go home. You are well now. But Krath did something unexpected. The creature reached out and touched Jinho's face with one gentle claw. The touch was soft and careful, like touching something precious. Krath made sounds, long sounds that the translation device could not quite turn into words. But the meaning was clear. The creature was saying goodbye. The creature was saying thank you. The creature was saying that it would remember this kindness forever. As Krath's ship left the space station, flying back toward the Vextaran homeworld, Jinho and Yunji stood in the observation room and watched it go. What do you think will happen now? Yunji asked. Jinho did not answer for a long moment. He was thinking about how one act of kindness had saved a life. He was thinking about how that one life might change everything, about how an entire species saw the universe. I think, Jinho said finally, that we are about to discover how powerful gentleness really is. 6 months passed. The universe was very big, and news traveled slowly through the stars. But some news was too important to travel slowly. Some news spread like light, breaking through the darkness. On the Vextaran homeworld, Krath arrived home a changed creature. The other Vextarans expected to see a warrior that had survived an accident. What they saw instead was something that confused them. They saw a creature with gentle eyes. They saw a creature that moved with calm instead of aggression. They saw a creature that wanted to talk instead of fight. The Vextaran leaders called Krath to speak before the High Council. It was a rare honor and a sign of serious trouble. If you were brought before the High Council, you had either done something wrong or you had learned something that nobody wanted to hear. Krath did both. The creature told them everything. It told them about Dr. Jinho and his kindness. It told them about Yunji and her soft voice. It told them about being hurt and scared and learning that there were other beings in the universe who cared about you even though you came from different worlds. The High Council did not like this story. The leader of the council, an ancient Vextaran called Varthos, made a sound of anger. This human fooled you, Varthos said. It made you weak. The Vextaran people are strong. We do not need kindness. We do not need these soft feelings. We need power. We need logic. We need to be ready for war at all times. But I was not weak when I was kind, Krath said. I was stronger. I healed faster because my body was not using all its power to feel fear. I thought clearer because my mind was not clouded by anger. I understood more because I was listening instead of fighting. The High Council said nothing, but they were listening. Krath continued to speak. The creature told them a truth that nobody had wanted to say out loud for many hundreds of years. The Vextaran people had not always been cold and violent. Long ago, in the ancient times, they had been different. They had loved each other. They had created art and music and beautiful things. They had cared for their young and their weak. They had known kindness, but then a great war had come. It had lasted so long and killed so many that the people decided to change themselves. They decided that feelings were dangerous. They decided that kindness was a weakness that would get them killed. They decided to become something cold and logical and hard. For 800 years, they had been this way. And for 800 years, They had believed that this was who they really were. They had believed that emotions were something that other weaker species had. They had believed that the Vextaran were meant to be warriors and nothing else. But Krath knew the truth. The emotions were still there, buried deep inside. The Vextaran people had not gotten rid of their feelings. They had just locked them away, like putting precious things in a box and throwing away the key dot when Krath had been with Dr. Jinho. Those feelings had started to wake up again. Krath had felt fear, yes, but also comfort. Krath had felt pain, but also hope. Krath had felt alone, but also loved. We have been living only half alive, Krath told the High Council. We have been using only part of what we are. The humans showed me that there is another way. There is a way to be strong and kind. There is a way to be logical and also caring. There is a way to be ourselves again. The High Council was silent for a very long time. In the weeks that followed, something strange and wonderful began to happen. Krath's words spread through the Vextaran homeworld. Young Vextarans, who had always felt something missing in their cold, logical lives, began to listen. They began to whisper about feelings in secret. They began to ask questions about the ancient times when their people were different. The older Vextarans tried to stop it. They said it was dangerous. They said it was weakness. They said the young ones were being foolish. But they could not stop what had started. Messages came from the Mercy Medical Space Station. Captain Mingqiu had sent messages to the Vextaran government, telling them that Dr. Jinho had offered to come to their world. He offered to help teach the Vextarans about medicine that healed not just the body, but also the mind and heart. He offered to show them that kindness was not a weakness, but a different kind of strength. The High Council was divided. Some wanted to reject the offer. Some wanted to accept it. In the end, they made a choice that surprised everyone. They said yes, but they had a question first. They sent a message back to the space station. They asked to speak with Krath again, the creature that had been healed by Dr. Jinho's kindness. They asked Krath to come back to the Vextaran homeworld and help them understand what had happened. Krath did not hesitate. The creature had work to do. The creature had a whole civilization to help wake up. When Krath arrived at the High Council for the second time, the ancient leader Varthos was waiting. I was wrong, the old Vextaran said. It was hard for him to say these words. For hundreds of years, Vextarans had not admitted to being wrong. But Varthos was old, and he was wise in a way that went beyond logic. He had lived long enough to see patterns. He had lived long enough to know that the way things had been was not the way things had to stay. I was wrong to lock away what were, Varthos continued. You have reminded us that we have a choice. We can keep being cold and hard, or we can try to remember how to feel again. Either way, the choice must be ours. Not forced on us by fear. Not forced on us by tradition. Ours. Krath reached out and touched the ancient leader's face, the same gentle way the creature had touched Dr. Jinho. Then let us choose, Krath said. Let us choose to be whole again. The message went out across the Vextaran civilization. Dr. Jinho was welcome. The humans were welcome. A new time was beginning. A time when an entire species would learn to wake up something they thought had died long ago. And it had all started because one human doctor had seen a scared creature and decided to help with kindness instead of fear. Dr. Jinho and Yunji stood at the window of the ship that was taking them to the Vextaran homeworld. They watched as the planet grew larger and larger, filling the view. It was beautiful. The planet was mostly blue and green, like Earth, but there were crystal mountains that reflected light like the Vextaran skin did. It was alien and beautiful and full of promise. Captain Mingqiu had made the journey with them. The military had given him permission to be part of this mission. This was not about weapons or war. This was about something different. This was about showing the galaxy that humans could do something special. Humans could change things just by being kind. When the ship landed, they were met by Krath and a group of older Vex Terrans. The first thing that surprised Jinho was how the Vex Terrans moved. They did not move like the warriors he had read about in reports. They moved slowly and carefully, like they were learning how to walk again. "Welcome," Kraft said. The creature's voice was warm now, nothing like the scared sounds it had made in the medical bay. "Welcome to home. We have been waiting for you." The Vex Terrans had prepared a place for them. It was not a prison or a laboratory. It was a healing center. It was a place where Vex Terrans who were sick in mind and body could come to learn how to be whole again. Jinho and Yunji did something that nobody had ever done before. They taught the Vex Terrans not just how to heal others, but how to heal themselves. They taught about the connection between the body and the mind. They taught that emotions were not weaknesses. They taught that it was okay to be scared sometimes, and that being scared did not mean you were bad. The Vex Terrans learned slowly. Some resisted. Some said that the old way was better. But most of them wanted something different. Most of them could feel that something was missing in their lives, and they wanted to fill that hole. Eun-G became especially close to the young Vex Terrans. She taught them to play. This was something the Vex Terran civilization had not done for 800 years. They had forgotten how to play, how to laugh, how to find joy in simple things. Yunji showed them music. She showed them that colors could make you feel things. She showed them that dancing was a way to let your body express what your mind could not say with words. The older Vex Terrans watched and slowly began to remember. Some of them had children and grandchildren. Some had not had children in a very long time because the culture did not support love between partners. That was changing now. Slowly, carefully, the Vex Terrans were learning to love again. 6 months after arriving, something happened that made Jinho cry. A young Vex Terran woman came to him. Her name was Mina, and she had just given birth to a baby. The baby was small and helpless and beautiful. She brought it to Jinho because she wanted him to know that she had understood what he was teaching. "This baby is because of you," Mina said. "I would not have let myself feel love without your teaching. I would have thought it was weakness. But I see now that this baby, this life that I made because I love someone, this is the strongest thing I have ever done." Jinho held the baby gently. Its skin was soft, not hard like adult Vex Terrans. Its eyes were bright with curiosity, not fear. This baby would grow up in a different world from the one its mother had grown up in. This baby would know both logic and love. This baby would know kindness. The story spread through the galaxy, but not as a military victory or a scientific achievement. It spread as something different. It spread as a story about what happens when you choose kindness over fear. It spread as proof that one person could change everything. Other species began to come to the Vex Terran homeworld. They came to learn from Jinho and Yunji. They came to understand that medicine was not just about healing the body. Other species began to open their hearts because they saw that the Vex Terrans, who had been cold and logical for 800 years, were learning to love again. 10 years passed. Dr. Jinho was older now. His hair had turned gray. His hands moved a little slower than they used to, but his eyes were still bright with the same kindness that had saved Krath so long ago. The healing center had grown into something huge. There were many doctors working now, many Vex Terrans and humans and other species from across the galaxy. They all worked together. They all knew that healing was not something you did alone. It was something you did with others, with patience and kindness. Krath was the head doctor now. The creature that had almost died in the medical bay of a space station was now teaching others how to heal. Krath often told the story of Dr. Jinho, the human who had sat with a scared alien in the dark and talked until the fear went away. That story had become like a prayer for the Vextaran people. That story reminded them of who they wanted to be. On a quiet day, Jinho sat in the garden that the Vextarans had grown. It was full of flowers and water and beauty. Yoonji sat beside him. She was not young anymore either, but she was still the kind person who had believed in Krath when no one else did. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Yoonji asked. Jinho did not answer right away. He was watching Vextaran children play with human children. He was watching the adults work together. He was watching a civilization that had been cold for 800 years slowly remember how to be warm. "I think," Jinho said finally, "that sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change the biggest things. I think that what we did was not even really special. We just treated an alien the way we would treat any patient. We saw pain, and we tried to help. We saw fear, and we offered safety. We saw loneliness, and we offered friendship. But everyone could do that," Eunji said. "Yes," Jinho agreed. "Everyone could. But they do not always think of it. They do not always believe that kindness is worth more than weapons or power. But it is. It always is." The sun was setting over the Vextaran homeworld. The sky turned colors of purple and gold. Somewhere in the galaxy, other species were hearing the story. Other beings were understanding that maybe, just maybe, kindness was not a weakness. Maybe kindness was the most powerful force in the universe, and it had all started with one human vet's gentle whisper, changing everything.